guys, it's Pretty Little Fro and welcome to the very first Wine Wednesday. I was asking myself, how can I drink more wine and make more YouTube videos? And thus, Wine Wednesday was born. I'm super excited about this new series that I want to do on this channel. I think this is like kind of a cool thing where we can just like sit down, we got our comfy pants on, and I can talk to you guys about different topics. Maybe I'll have a couple different guests on, and I can tell you about some new wine that I got. So in this Wine Wednesday, I am going to answer some questions that you guys sent in. I asked you guys to ask me questions on Instagram, and then I forgot to save the questions. So I asked you guys to ask me the questions again on the YouTube community tab, and you guys sent in some really good questions. So today we're gonna talk about marriage, we're gonna talk about business, we're gonna talk about breakdowns. So it's gonna be like a really good episode. I am super excited for I'm super excited for this. But before we get into the content, we gotta taste the wine, okay? So today for Wine Wednesday, we have this Lucio? Here you go. Let me do a beauty YouTuber camera thing. You see that? This is what we have for today for Wine Wednesday. I wanted to start it off safe because I know I like Moscato, so I think it will be good. But I've never had this one. It seemed very bougie, okay? It seemed very fancy. And I was like, this is a vibe I'm trying to get off for Wine Wednesday, okay? We dress up for no reason, okay? We dress up just to taste some wine. So let's open this up and pour ourselves a glass. Whoops. Ooh, it's not steaming. Ooh, it's very Moscato-y smelling. Smells very sweet. It smells very winey. You know, I did a wine tasting once, so obviously I'm a professional now, but yeah, so let's go ahead. That's good stuff. That's really good. Ooh, that's good stuff. I'm gonna have to buy my mom some because she loves Moscato. Okay, without further ado, let's get into the questions. Okay, so I have opened my laptop to my YouTube community post tab, and let's start with the first question. So the first question is, how old are you? Do you and your BF plan on getting married and having kids? Also, do you have any siblings, and will you do a siblings video? So let's start with the first one. I am 27 years old. I will be turning 28 in August. I'm so close to being 30. I just realized that in 12 and a half years, I'm going to be 40 years old, okay? I'm closer to being 40 than I am to being a teenager. Oh my god. Okay. Now that I feel like I'm getting a little old, y'all. But that's okay. Next question. Do you and your BF plan on getting married and having kids? Yes, we plan on getting married. We're thinking 2022. We don't know. It's out in the future somewhere. Having kids? No. I do not want to have kids. My uterus is full of cobwebs and I would like to keep it that way. I've never really wanted to have kids. It's never been something that I've wanted to do. Getting pregnant actually terrifies me. Yeah, getting pregnant terrifies me. The thought of I don't know, people just they just be out here get pregnant it's no big deal. I'm like, there's a person in there, you're growing another human being inside of you. That thought just it terrifies me. So I have no interest in ever being pregnant or ever having kids. I think I might want to adopt a kid later when I'm 40 something, maybe then, but no, I have no desire to have children. Do I have any siblings, and will I do a siblings video? So I do have siblings. I have an older sister, I have an older brother, and I have a younger sister. I actually just went to lunch with my brother today. He lives in New York and he's in town visiting for Christmas because his girlfriend's family lives here too. So it was really nice seeing him. I think I'm going to convince my little sister to come on here and do a YouTube video with me. I think she's going to be the first guest for our next Wine Wednesday. So that's super exciting. I was telling her about that today. I also keep telling her that she needs to like make a YouTube channel on Instagram because she has like really good style and she's really pretty. So I keep telling her, I was like, you need to be on these interwebs, girl. But we'll see if we can get her on here. But yeah, I think I'll do a video with her. My older sister lives in California, so I'm not gonna be able to do a video with my older brother or sister, but I think I'm gonna convince my younger sister to come on here and do a video with me. Okay, next question. Was studying computer science hard? Do you need a master's degree? Do you think it was worth it to get a bachelor's? Would you have completed a boot camp if you could do it all over again? Studying computer science is hard. Computer science is not an easy degree at all. It was it's challenging and it's a lot of work because it's not just programming. Like it's not just like knowing Java or C++ or something. There's a lot of classes you have to take that have to do more with in-depth, like machine learning. That class was enjoyable. What's this other one? Oh, there's this other class. It was awful. I'm not gonna lie. I really cheated my way through that class. You had to do the entire class in C, and I did not know C. I never learned C, and because I transferred schools, they actually taught the languages in the opposite order. So when people were learning Java at the school I transferred to, the school that I stayed at was learning C. So because I transferred, I pretty much just went from like learning Java to like learning more Java. And he wouldn't let me do that class in Java. I pretty much convinced all my other teachers to let me do everything in Java because it was like the one I was really good at and one I knew. But yeah, I just cheated my way through that class. So I can't remember what it was. It was like system, I can't remember, but it was awful. And it's not an easy degree. It is really not an easy degree. And it's not just like, you know, coding or anything like that. It's a lot more in-depth than that. You do not need a master's degree. You can just get a bachelor's degree in computer science to become a software engineer. That's what I did. You don't need like a special degree to do that. You just need, you know, your regular old computer science degree. My brother also worked as a software engineer, but he got his degree in computer management information systems, and they focus more on the business stuff, but they also teach you like Java and like web applications and things like that. So you can get a similar degree like that. Computer science, you can do more in like engineering. Like I said, computer science degree is not just if you want to be a programmer or a software engineer. There's a lot more you can do with a computer science degree, but it's not the only degree that you can get if you want to become a software engineer. Do you think it was worth it to get a bachelor's, and would you have completed a boot camp if you could do it all over again? If I could do it all over again, I would not go to college. Okay, and I think college is important, and I think if you want to get into a STEM degree, that having a college degree is really, really important. As you guys know, I just went through college for the sake of going through college. I feel like if I would have spent that 6 years and whatever, $60,000, if I would have spent that time and that money investing into what I truly wanted to do, I feel like I would have been in a better position in life now than I am. But because I went through college, and not just because I got the degree, but I also wasted a lot of time in college not knowing what I wanted to do, and I wasted a lot of money going to college because I didn't know what I wanted to do. So if I could go back in time, I would not like go to college at all. I feel like I should have invested into the creative businesses that I was interested in, that I really wanted to pursue. But at the time, I had this big stigma that I could never have a sustainable life or lifestyle doing that. And I feel like now, you know, hindsight's always 20/20. And now I definitely feel like I could make money doing whatever it is I decide to do, but that's not something that I knew at the time or something that I believed at the time. I just felt like I had to go through college. So if I could do it all over again, I wouldn't get a degree. I would just pursue my creative business. So yeah. Okay, so this is a really good question. I've actually been thinking about this next question like since yesterday when it was submitted. So the next question is a long one. It says, are you truly happy? You've had some breakdowns, especially when leaving your near six-figure job. But are you truly happy doing what you're doing now? Do you think social networks contribute to mental health decline? There's research that connects the two. So just wondering if you feel compared to share. Just wondering if you feel compelled to share so much of your life insanity to stay relevant in a world of social media. Thanks. I hope my questions aren't too raw. So your question, I love your questions because I feel like I have a lot of thoughts on this. So I've had some breakdowns which I have shared, you know, especially with me leaving this YouTube channel and cutting my hair, but leaving my job was not a breakdown. It was more of like a break up. You know, it's something that was really emotional. It was really hard, but it was something I knew that I had to do, and I do not regret it one bit. You know, at the beginning of that video, I showed me crying, and if more than anything, I was feeling so overwhelmed with emotions about what I was going through at the time. But the very last thing that I said when, you know, that day that I was filming, you know, a video of myself, because I don't think I'm ever going to post it, but I have went back and watched it a couple times, and the last thing that I said to myself was, I am so proud of myself for finally being, like, having the courage to do this. So it was less of a breakdown, and it was more of just me finally letting go of all that pressure that I put on myself to follow this career path that I didn't really want to do anymore. And it was, like I said, it was really hard because I had spent so much time and money investing into that career path and into that life that I was building with that career, and giving that up and moving on to something else was really, really difficult. So I would say that it was a breakdown. It was more of a break up. The next question, part of that was, do you think social networks contribute to mental health decline? Oh my gosh, yes. I feel like that was one of the one of the reasons that it was really hard for me to come back onto social media, because I was still getting a lot of negative emotions from social media. I think people like to glamorize their lives, and even when we know that, it still makes it hard to not compare ourselves to how we see the lives of the people that we see online, right? My biggest thing, and this is like super random, but you see these people on Instagram, they have like these white, you know, their walls are white, their kitchen's white, everything's white, blah, blah, blah. And I look at my house, and, you know, these like hideous gray walls, like these walls, they don't look bad on camera, but in real life, they like look so bad. But like my kitchen's not like white. You know, I live in like a very middle class area. Like nobody here is driving like fancy cars, don't have a fancy house. And I would compare myself so hard to like these people that have like these super white, like lives, like everything's like there's no color, there's no anything. Just on YouTube, I guess it looks great. In real life, it looks so boring. Like I feel like you walk into somebody's house and like everything's just like bland. You're just like, you need some like emotion in here. But we compare ourselves to the lives of others that we see online, even when we know that it's not real. And I feel like it took me a long time to get out of that mindset of comparing myself to other people online. And I feel like this is a huge issue. Even now, with how much like mental health has become popular to talk about online, it still, I feel like, doesn't address the issues. Some of my favorite creators now share like their real lives online, which I think I appreciate. I appreciate when people can share how their lives aren't perfect. But I definitely think that social media contributes to mental health decline, and it's really hard to get off social media. I know I still have a problem with just like scrolling like mindlessly to fill like voided time, because like what are you going to do with yourself when you're not scrolling on Facebook? I don't know, you can read a book or something. That's a topic for another day. But I definitely think that it does, and I'd agree with, you know, like the statistics that being on social media all the time is definitely detrimental to your mental health. Okay. Are you truly happy with what you do? Yes, I'm happy. I think overall I'm happy with my life. I'm happy with the decisions that I've made. I'm not going to sit here and say like I wake up every single day I'm like the happiest person in the world. I haven't even sipped my wine. Let me sip my wine. Ooh, that's good stuff. I have good days and bad days just like everybody else. I think that overall I am experiencing happiness a lot more often than I did before, because my life, when you're working a job that you just like, it was just so draining. It was so mentally draining for me. And it's hard when that is 8 hours of your day, 5 days a week, you know. And there's a point when once I realized like I don't need this money, I can find this money somewhere else. I can support myself in another way. It's not saying like you have to love your job, right? Because sometimes my job right now, sometimes it sucks, okay? Sometimes it does, but it's not this idea that you have to love your job. But there are aspects of my current job as a photographer that I absolutely love, and it keeps me going when things get shitty. And with my other job, I didn't have that. You know, I didn't have any like motivation behind doing it besides a paycheck. And now that I don't need that, I feel like overall I've experienced happiness a lot more often than I did before. Okay. Do I feel compelled to share so much of my life to stay relevant in the world of social media? I think it's a really good question. I think one of the things that compels me to share and just be kind of like real on here and like raw, like you said, these questions are raw, is because you don't see that a lot on social media. In college, I took this class called Authenticity on like Facebook or something, and it talked about how authentic can somebody truly be in a world where everything is edited, right? And one of the books we read, I think it's called like The Circle, but the idea is that people want it to be so authentic online that they pretty much like vlog, like live streamed their entire day, every single person. And if you weren't willing to like live stream every second of your day, besides like the time you were like in the bathroom, that's the only time that was acceptable, like not to live stream. So I think there are two extremes. I think we're definitely very heavily in an extreme where people want to share the best versions of themselves, and I want to share the best versions of myself online, right? But I also want people to come to this channel and feel something real and understand that like I'm not a perfect person, and that it's okay not to be perfect. And it's okay to just be like a normal, regular person. You don't have to be like this spectacular, Instagrammable, social media like person all the time, right? You can just be a regular person, and being a regular person is perfectly fine. And sometimes regular people have breakdowns, and regular people quit their jobs, and regular people go through things. And I don't want to cultivate this image of perfection because I'm not perfect. And I think before, when I was doing, this before, I definitely felt like I had to cultivate this image of perfection, and that kind of fed into a lot of the issues that I had and why I had to leave the channel. And I don't want to do that. I want to just be real and authentic, and I want to be me, and I don't want people to expect anything from me that I'm not able to give. And I think I think the real reason is I wish I could have come online before and saw the type of person that I am now. I wish I could have found them online, so maybe I could be that for somebody else. So I don't really feel compelled to share for the sake of being relevant. I think I used to be really obsessed with like being in the now and followers and all this thing, and I think more I really want to build up a community of people who are looking to uplift one another. That's a big part of my job as a boudoir photographer, and a big part of my business is just uplifting people. And I feel like that's really what I'm truly passionate about. It's uplifting women in particular. So I just want to be able to do that here too, and just be real, because sometimes life sucks and sometimes it's great, and we all have these ups and downs. So I want to share those with you guys, so you know that it's just normal. It's just part of life. You can't expect perfection every single day. That was a really good question. Okay, so Next question is, are you happy to be back on YouTube? How long are you now together with Zach? So I'm super happy to be on YouTube. I love filming videos. I feel like I just sit here and like talk all day. I'm really an introverted person. Like, I do not talk like this, like out, you know, like in life. So I love coming on here because I feel like I can just like talk and like express myself and like say what I gotta say, and there's gonna be like people who agree with me, and maybe there'll be like people who disagree with me, and we can have like a discussion, and I feel like I'm able to get like this interaction that I'm not able to get in real life because like talking around real people is like kind of scary. So I really like that I'm able to come on here and just like talk with you guys, and yeah, it makes me really happy. Okay, so how long have you been together with Zach? So if you guys don't know, Zach's my boyfriend. We did a boyfriend tag video right when I started this YouTube channel. And it's still up. So we're so cute. But our 5-year anniversary is in February. So we've been together for half a decade, which is so long. We've been together since before I graduated college. So it's been a minute, y'all. So yeah. Okay, next question. How do you find opportunities to get into your career field, such as internships, especially with COVID? I'm almost 22. I feel like I'm not doing anything, but I don't know where to go for volunteer experiences or internships. I'm a psychology major. So my younger sister is actually a psychology major. Fun fact. So how do you find opportunities to get into your career field, such as internships? Internships are super important. If you are currently in college and you have not done an internship, internships are more valuable than grades. Internships are more valuable than a lot of things. Like I mentioned before, I had a really shitty GPA, but because I had internships and real world experience, I was able to get a real job. I will say this, my first internship I got because of my brother. So if you know somebody that works in anywhere that could give you experience in what it is that you're willing to do, contact them. Even if it's like a random friend, even anybody. If they're working in a field, or if they're working in a job that would be beneficial for you to internship at, contact them. Knowing people, this is something that's irritating, but it's also really true. Knowing people and like knowing people is pretty much going to get you farther in life than anything else. Knowing the right people. I don't think I would have gotten the job that I got if I didn't get that first internship, and if I didn't have my brother to help me get that internship, I would have been in a very different place. But your friends, your family, your cousins, like the random neighbor down the street, if you know anybody that is working in a job that can benefit you and get you an internship, reach out to them, because that's going to be the easiest and #1 way for you to get an internship. Second is, I know when I went to the first college that I went to, a lot of companies actually worked with them. So they had like a portal where it listed all the internships for the companies that were partnered with them, and you could look through those and you could apply directly through your school. The third way is figure out the companies that you want to work for, right? So for my second internship, I knew what company I wanted to work for. And every single day, I was on their website checking to see if their internship applications were open. The very first day that their internship applications were open, I applied for an internship, and I think like maybe a week later, I got the internship. So most internships you're going to actually interview for like the summer before you actually go. Did I interview like a year before I actually went? I interviewed I think it was like the fall, and then the next summer is when I start the internship. So you have to be on top of internships really, really early. So knowing somebody, going through your school's portal, or just like being on top of it, contact them, contact their HR department, ask like, hey, blah, 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 like having really good projects that you've worked on, even if it's just school projects. Having those listed on there as like work credibility will really help you go far. I personally saw I was in like 2 contests that were for like a business, like a big old business that like sponsored contests through our programming department, and my team won like one of the really big ones for like Android app development. I saw that on my resume, and I still, like, if I ever got into like Android development again, I would use that because I led that team, and that was like a really cool project that we did actually. But that is what I would suggest. Don't feel bad for, like, don't feel like you always need to be doing something. And I'll say this, like, you don't always need to be doing something. If you can't get an internship, look at different ways where you can gain powerful experience that's not necessarily through an internship. So can you volunteer? If you want to do like psychology and maybe work with children, volunteer at a school. It doesn't necessarily have to be directly like doing, you know, that psychology stuff. But if you want to work like with kids, you can volunteer with children, and that will look positively on, you know, the future things. So think about creative ways where you can get experience if it's going to help you like direct towards whatever career field you're looking to get into. Okay, next question. Do you think the pros of entrepreneurship outweigh the cons when it comes to comparing it with a 9-to-5 office jobs? Are the cons outweigh the pros? Okay, so here are the cons of having a regular 9-to-5 job. Consistent paycheck, benefits, that's like a huge one. That's all I got. The pros of having a entrepreneurial job. Potentially, there's the potential to make a lot more money. You control your own hours. You can do something you're passionate about. I'm sure there's more, but these are like the main ones I can think of. Cons for having a 9-to-5. Limited income opportunities. You have to ask people's, like, you have to go to your boss and ask them for a raise if you want more money, and they can be like, no, we can't do raises for 6 more months or whatever. I know in corporate that's a big thing, like, oh, we only do raises at this time and this time. It's like, oh, okay. Sometimes it's like soul wrenching. Sometimes it's not, though. It doesn't necessarily have to be. And then the cons of entrepreneur. You have to set your own hours. You have to be the one to determine your own schedule. Money can come and go. Like I mentioned in my quitting video, this month's been really slow for me. Other months have been like super busy. So it like really, really fluctuates. And that's something that you have to prepare for. You never know when a month's going to be really good or really bad. Especially when you're first starting out, maybe longer in the business, you can kind of see those after you have like more data to use. But in the beginning, you're never going to know when your months are going to do really good or really bad. Benefits. You got to pay for your own health insurance. You got to put money into your own retirement accounts. It's just a lot, like pretty much every single thing is on you when you're an entrepreneur, every single thing. I can tell you right now, I have not been able to put any money into my retirement account, which I have quite a bit of money in there already, so like it's okay. But one of my goals for 2021 is to start putting money into my retirement account again. Health insurance is really expensive. Right now I'm spending like $500 a month on health insurance. Next year I'm going to be spending like $300 and something a month on health insurance. And before, my company paid for all my health insurance, right? So I didn't have to pay a single dime for health insurance. I don't know if the pros and cons outweigh each other. Personally, I don't think having a 9-to-5 is like bad. I honestly, if I could have like mentally tolerated it longer, I think I would have stayed in my job, because overall, like my job wasn't bad. It wasn't like a bad job or anything. It was just time for me to go. But I wasn't having a bad experience. And if you're not having a bad experience, I don't think you should leave. I'm not going to be the person, you know, I'm not going to be the entrepreneur person who tells you need to quit your 9-to-5. Like, if everybody quit their 9-to-5, nobody could like work at the grocery store, like give me Starbucks. Like the apps that you see on your phone probably wouldn't exist, because a lot of people who build those things work 9-to-5s. Like your phone carrier, like data, like the people that handle all the networks and stuff, they're working 9-to-5 jobs, and like 9-to-5 jobs run our society. So I don't think 9-to-5 jobs are bad. I don't know if there is the benefit. The biggest benefit for me was mentally. I like doing what I do now, and I think it was time for me for a change in my life. But I don't know if like the pros and cons outweigh. I think it's like a very, very personal thing. I wouldn't quit my 9-to-5 job if I wasn't sure that I could make the same money doing what I want to do. Before I quit, I'd saved up my 6 months of expenses, but I also had like a lot of bookings before I quit too, and I had enough bookings where between the money I'd saved and the bookings I'd done, I would be good for an entire year. So I made sure of that before I quit, but I think it's going to be really personal whether the pros and cons of having, you know, being an entrepreneur versus having a 9-to-5 are going to be better or worse for you. Okay, next question. How do you feel about social media managers and would you get one? Oh my gosh, yes. One of the things I want to do for my business in 2021 is to get social media manager. Managing social media is so tedious. My camera stopped recording, so I guess that means I've been talking too long. But managing social media is really, really tedious. And one thing I want to do is get a social media manager for my photography business. Between my Instagram and the Facebook group that I run for, it's just a lot. I post twice a day on my Instagram and I post like 10 times a day in my Facebook group. So it's a lot of work and I would love to have somebody else do this. So definitely yes to social media managers. Okay, and this is the last question. Do you have a business mentor? How did you arrive at the pricing for your photography services? And do you have various packages? What entity is your business? Okay, so first, do you have a business mentor? Yes and no. So I do follow a very, very successful boudoir photographer, and she sells like guides basically explaining how to build your boudoir photography business. And I pretty much have purchased all of them. I think altogether they're like $500 each, and I have like 6 or 7 of them. I don't remember. So I spent like quite a bit of money buying these, and they're pretty much the reason I have a business. And I definitely believe in her and what she does. One thing I would say, as if you're looking for a business mentor, a lot of people will try to sell you guides or courses teaching you how to do something, but they themselves have never done said thing. They might be really, really successful at selling these guides or selling these courses, and usually that's where a lot of their money comes from. But your business mentor should be somebody who has successfully built the same business that you are looking to build, right? So the woman that I follow, she has like her boudoir business does like $500,000 a year, right? And that's how I'm trying to be. So she obviously knows what she's doing, and she also makes money from selling these guides and stuff, but she's very, very transparent about the money that she makes from her photography business and the money that she makes from the guides. One of the things I really enjoy about the boudoir photography community is that people are just like really, really open and transparent. But yeah, I kind of have a business mentor, but she like helps educate a lot of people, and a lot of people have built really successful boudoir photography businesses based on her information that she has. So yeah, that's what I follow. And if you're a photographer, like if you're not even a boudoir photographer, if you're a photographer and you like want to know more about who I'm talking about, feel free to like send me a DM on Instagram or something, and I'll like send you over to her group that she has. How did you arrive at pricing for your photography services? The lady that I just told you about, she has like a pricing guide, and I pretty much just copy and pasted that sucker over. It is crazy because when I first started doing photography, I was charging like $50 for like a 30-minute session, right? It included like 20 photos and like 30 minutes. I would like drive half an hour just to like go meet them, and it was like for $50. Okay, if you break down the time it took me to drive there, the time it took me to photograph them, the time it took me to edit those photos, the amount of money that goes into your camera equipment and your editing equipment, I was like pretty much losing money, and there's no way I could build a sustainable business charging people $50, right? And I feel like the issue with photography is that as a client, you only see the time that they spent like actually snapping your photo. You don't see the time that is spent like in the actual business. Like you don't see the time that's spent editing the photos. You don't see the time, like how much effort it takes to like be able to find quality products and like, you know, put all these things together. So now on average, clients spend like close to $2,000 for a session, depending on what package they buy. So usually people buy like my middle package, which includes like 20 or 30 photos, just depending. They spend about $2,000, and I know like a lot of people think that that's expensive, and that's fine. You're allowed to think that it's expensive, because it is. Boudoir is really a luxury service, and it's a lot more than like a regular photo session. So yeah, I just use her guide, and I love it because I'm able to empower a lot of women in what I do, and you know, people believe in me and invest in my services, and you know, pay me the amount of money that I feel like I'm worth. So I pretty much copy and pasted her pricing, so that's how I got. Do I have various packages? Yes, I have. I started out with like 3 packages. Now I have 5 different packages that I offer for my sessions, and I really push printed products. Super random, but I feel like people don't understand the value of a printed photo, and I feel like I didn't until I started selling them to people, and now like every photo that I really like I get it printed, right? So that giant photo that you see in a lot of the background of my videos, I absolutely love that photo, and I feel like having photos of yourself, people feel like it's, what is it, vain, but honestly I love being able to walk to my office and see like this beautiful, gorgeous, like gigantic photo of myself on the wall. It really like brings me a lot of happiness, be like, I look good that day, like, and it just brings a lot of memories back, and it's really meaningful. So and the last question is, what is your business entity? So my business is an LLC, but because I am the sole owner of the business, it's taxed the same as a sole proprietorship. So the LLC just adds like a level of like security, like if somebody was to like sue me or something, then they can only, I guess they could sue me personally too, but if it was through my business, they can only like, if something happens, they can only like take my business stuff, and they couldn't like come and take my house or something because it's not under my business name, and also my house is rented, so they couldn't take my house either, but you see the point. So I run it as an LLC. And I think how you do your business, I think it'd be fine if it was a sole proprietorship or an LLC. It's just a little bit easier to deal with the state, and I like just having it like separate. Yeah, that's kind of it. I mean, taxes are hard. They're annoying and they're hard. Yeah, that's it. Let me finish drinking my wine, y'all, because I'm tired. Hold on. Okay, so let's give a little review of this wine. This wine's actually really, really good. I like it. Would I recommend this? I give this wine like a 7.5 out of 10. I'd probably drink it again, but I would probably want to try something new before I chose to drink this one again. It's good. It says delightfully sweet, boasting bright citrus aroma. Maybe with delicate flavors of tangerine and honey. I'm not a fan of honey. Yeah, it's tasty. 7.5 out of 10. So that's all I have for you on this lovely Wine Wednesday. This one was like kind of all over the place because I was just answering questions, but I want to do like kind of like maybe like a podcast style Wine Wednesday. I think that would be pretty cool. So let me know what you guys think. What should the topic be for Wine Wednesday when I have my sister here? Let me know what we should talk about. We'll see. That'll be a fun video with my sister, so we'll see how that goes. But let me know what we should talk about in the next Wine Wednesday. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I did. I love just sitting down and talking with you guys. I just think it's so fun, and I just really enjoy it. And I enjoy wine, and that's how Wine Wednesday started. So I'm super excited to see what wine we're gonna get next week. And if you have wine suggestions, leave them down. Leave them down in the comments, because I like things that are sweet. I'm not a fan of like dry wine. So let me know what next week's wine should be. Maybe whoever has the most thumbs up for a wine suggestion, that's the wine I will get if I'm able to. So yeah, make sure to follow me on Instagram at @PrettyLittleFro, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys!
I don't need your dreamy eyes, your dreamy eyes. want your perfect model.